can you elaborate more again on two things? So two questions, if you can answer each question in 5 minutes, if possible. The first is your advice to people who are exploring Islam, exploring Islam. What's your advice to them? And the second question is, what is Shaun King doing now? I know that we need to focus on helping people all around the world, but just for just for this live in 5 minutes, what is Shaun King actively doing now to help the people in Gaza? Mike, back to you.
Sure. Well, Mansour, I want to tell people that these first 8 days of my life as a practicing Muslim, and by that I mean my wife and I are following the pillars of Islam. We have chosen this to be the path that we're on, the life that we lead, are 8 of the best days of our life. And what we have learned in these 8 days has been superior than what I learned about Islam in the 43 previous years of my life. I have to say that because if you are learning about Islam from the media, if you're learning about it from films and television, it's mainly misinformation. It's been beautiful, Mansour. The love, the peace, not only the love and peace in our hearts and in our minds, but the love, peace, and affection that we've gotten from the community. I can't tell you how beautiful it is to be in a masjid. And when we say the word masjid to anybody who's here with me who may not know, you may think that word may be unfamiliar to you. We're speaking about a mosque. And to be to be on the ground with my face on the ground praying next to a powerful, profound experience. And I want to tell people, you have to find the right sources. There's so much misinformation and misrepresentation, not just of Islam, the religion, but of Muslims around the world, that if you're not careful, you'll end up believing lies about what this really is. There are many places people could learn. I would want to encourage people to go to YouTube and look up the Imam who helped lead me to this, Omar Suleiman, who is not only a scholar, but is one of the most gentle, kind souls I have ever met in my life. And I want you to just watch some of his videos. He has a brilliant series for Ramadan that if you are not a Muslim and know very little about Islam, you could still watch these videos and learn about what the core and the spirit of this faith really is. And even I actually almost 14 years ago taught a college course at Spelman College on Islam, an academic course. That's not the same as learning it as something you want to practice in your life. And so I knew academically where the faith came from. I knew some of the historical facts. But now, as someone who practices it alongside men and women and families who practice it, it's very, very different. My wife is such a brilliant, educated woman. What we've learned in just these 8 days is superior to years and years of everything else we've learned. And so look up Omar Suleiman and start there. Um, if if you are
Jazakallah khair. Yes, my children, subhanAllah, um, um, when they want to listen to the English speaking lessons about Islam, Sheikh Omar Suleiman has a way to convey the message in a way, especially for the younger generation as well to learn. In addition to him understanding the mentality in the West, subhanAllah. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave qubul, subhanAllah, when I listen to him, mashallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and give him jaza khair for what he's doing. Just for the sake of time, Shaun, again, so the final question before us switching roles here is, what is Shaun King doing now actively to help I know that you're doing a lot for people around the world, but let's just focus on Gaza. Let's just narrow down on Gaza. Can you give us more details exactly what you are doing actively to help the people in Gaza at this moment?
So most of what I do from day to day, from what I've even just done today, I have decided to keep most of those things to myself. But since you asked me, I'll tell you. So now that I'm no longer on Instagram, a huge part of what I was doing was pointing people to follow men and women in Gaza to help them grow their platforms on Instagram and to show the world the injustices in Gaza. But now that I've been off of Instagram for almost 4 months, I have thrown myself really back into what I think is the foundation of who I am. It's just grassroots organizing. So, for instance, today there is a young woman journalist in Gaza whose mother needed blood pressure medication. So, we spent days tracking down that blood pressure medication. We found an alternative to that blood pressure medication, and her mother did not take well to it. Finally, we found the exact blood pressure medication that her mother needed. Well, several other people saw me searching publicly for that blood pressure medication in Gaza and told me they also needed that blood pressure medication, including a young girl and another family. And we were able to get that blood pressure medication to everybody who reached out to me that needed it. And a doctor who may be watching right now, Dr. Masab, is now bringing an entire case of that pressure medication over to Gaza just on Wednesday, so that there'll be a more of it there for people who need it. I'm working with the charity Human Concern International, and I want people to know the two people that, because these are the questions people have, Mansour. The two people I'm working with at the charity are brilliant Palestinians. Hassan, who I love now like a brother I've gotten to know, is from Gaza. And Iftikhar is also Gazan as well. And I work with both Hassan and Iftikhar every single day, man. And let me turn my car off. And we have raised now almost $2 million to provide hot meals during Ramadan for Palestinians from the north all the way down to Rafah. It's incredibly difficult. Um, finding finding meat is difficult. Finding something as simple as the materials to pack the food in is difficult. Finding a safe space to cook the food. And when I say safe, there is no safe place. There's no safe place from the bombs or missiles. It's also difficult to find a private place to cook it because everybody is hungry. And how do you find a place that's private, remote, safe, available? How do you find, fresh meat? How do you find a lamb, a goat, a chicken? How do you find beef? And so I have spent the bulk of this past month really working with everyday men and women all over Gaza to help us. We've opened up 5 community kitchens, including one in the north and 4 other community kitchens from the north all the way to Rafah. And we are now providing, our goal is to provide almost 20,000 hot meals a day. And we're also providing 7,000 food boxes per week. Our goal is to provide 600,000 hot meals during Ramadan. Mansour, this doesn't surprise you because you're doing this work as well. It may be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I say that hard from my safe living room. Nothing's easy. Um, Everything's outrageously expensive. Everything has to be, everything is hard and is full of disappointment. And just today, I probably had, I don't know, 200 families ask me if they could get that food. And the truth is, we just don't have enough. And I'm providing, and the donors, almost 16,000 donors have joined us. I just have to say this. That money never goes to me. And Mansour, you know this. That money goes straight to the charity. I would never receive, I have never in my life raised money online that went to me. It never goes to me. And this money goes directly to human concern, 100% of it. Launch Good, where we raise this money, they certify and verify all of these facts and details. And so while people like to spam us in these comments and across the internet that I'm stealing that money, that's a crime, Mansour. It would be,
On,
and because this is not, no, I have to say this, Mansour. It's
so,
a national and international crime. If I took $5 of that money, it would be a crime. I could not live with myself. My wife would leave me if I ever did anything of the sort. But it is, I don't think about that, Mansour. All I think about is how can we increase our capacity? How can I not have to tell families no? But in a place that has 2.5 million people, 20,000 meals, it feels like a lot, but it's nothing, man. It's nothing at all. And so
Brother
I
Shaun, Brother
yeah,
Shaun, just for time's purposes, I want to thank you for answering some of the questions that I had and taking us through a journey of, subhanAllah, your life, how you embraced Islam, how you got introduced to the Palestinian cause, how because of that you directly got banned on a platform which you reached millions on, and the work that you're doing now, subhanAllah, whether it's through being on the ground through these tours, advocating for Palestine, or trying through local charities and international organizations to get people food. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. And Jazakallah khair for sharing this information with us.